Howdy folks, there's a new sheriff in town and it's called the Volkswagen Atlas. I was going to try that with a Texas twang, but my range of American accents is almost as good as Sean Connery, so that wouldn't work. So welcome tonight to the 2018 Volkswagen Atlas Media Drive here in Boerne, Texas, right in the heart of Hill Country. You might be wondering why we chose Texas to launch the Atlas, but if you look at it, the Atlas is a really big mid-size SUV, and it looks right at home here on the roads in Texas alongside all the trucks and SUVs you get here. The second reason is our ad tagline is "Life's as big as you make it." And as I learned when I was doing my citizenship training, there's nowhere bigger in the lower 48 than the state of Texas. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Mark Gillies, I'm Senior Manager of Product Communications, and before we launch into the product presentation itself, I'd like to do a few introductions and do a bit of housekeeping. So first up from the communications team, Pietro Zolino. First and foremost, he's my boss. He's Chief Communications Officer for the Volkswagen North American region. And we joked last night that he had the one suit in Texas, but tonight he proved us wrong. He has two suits, the only two in Texas. Next up we have Nicole Redding, who's our freshly minted West Coast PR manager. As she says, AKA the new Daryl. Jessica Anderson, who's our senior specialist on product communications team. Stephanie Simpson, who's the media relations specialist. I nearly got that one wrong. We have John Anderson, who runs our media fleet. We have our videographer extraordinaire, who's wearing a really bad hat, like really bad. So Chris Stall, Chris is around to take care of all your video and photo needs tomorrow. I can't believe we bought that. I hope you didn't put it on expenses, Chris, that's all I can say. Anyway, if you have any video or photo needs tomorrow, Chris is available, and collar him tonight because he's rushing around in the morning to do that. And finally, from the frozen north, we have Thomas Tetzlaff, who's the Canadian PR team single-handed. So from the product marketing and product strategy side, I'd like to introduce Mike Velati, who's the Vice President for what we call G3, mid-size and full-size product lines for the North American region. We have the incredibly tall Jim Birch, who's the product manager for Atlas. And we have Wee Fan Tan, who's senior specialist who can deal with anything you have, any questions related to connectivity or infotainment or driver assistance. So with that, I'd just like to launch into a bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, if you haven't partnered up for the drive tomorrow, do so tonight and make your life a bit easier in the morning. Once we're done here, actually once the American media are done with the product presentation, we're going for a fabulous Texas barbecue over at La Cascada, which is where you registered. And Mr. Tetzlaff is keeping the Canadian media hostage to bore them for hours with his product presentation.
No, he's keeping us from eating too much of it.
The barbecue's good, by the way. After dinner, we have hospitality on the terrace. We have a fire pit as well, overlooking the golf course. And if you get cold, there's a nice hospitality area too. So in the morning, breakfast is from 6 to 8. Bring your luggage, your baggage down to breakfast. A member of the event team will take care of it. We're going to try and get wheels up by 8:30 at the latest for the drive. It's about a 3-hour drive. It's actually really good fun. We did it today. There's some pretty good twisty roads in there. Lunch is in probably the most oxymoronic place I've ever been to, which is a German town in the middle of Texas called Fredericksburg. After lunch, some of you will be going direct to the airport. Others of you will actually be coming back to the resort. So when it comes to vehicles, the vast majority of the vehicles we have are premium, SEL premiums. The vast majority of vehicles are all-wheel drive. We also have some SEs with technology, some SEs and some SELs. So if you're going to be going from if you're going to be going to the airport from lunch, I'll try and get yourself into an SEL premium. If you don't get into an SEL premium, you're coming back here, talk to the ESI team at lunch stop and they'll make sure you get in the car. I think that's basically it. The vehicles are first come, first served. And if anybody wants to photograph the yellow one with silver wheels, Andrei Smirnov paid me a huge bribe earlier and he snagged that. So with that, I'll be back up to take questions with Jim and Mike, and I'd like to get Mike to come up and do a brief overview of Volkswagen business at the moment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Lavati is my name. I am the Vice President for the mid full-size product line here in the North American region. On behalf of the North American region, I'd like to welcome you to San Antonio area, or Bourne, Texas, for an exciting time in the VW world and for our Atlas. So before we jump into the product details, we'll give you a little overview of where we stand from the business side of things, and we'll jump right into it. So this is an important time for Volkswagen in the United States. We are working to regain trust and rebuild the brand here. We remain firmly committed to that and are working diligently on that task right now, and it's the first and foremost priority. In 2017, we're delivering on our promise in growth strategy, 2 all-new SUV models, the midsize Atlas, which you see here to my right, and the purpose for this evening, and the compact Tiguan coming a little bit later this year. And we're building off positive sales momentum, which has continued from the fourth quarter of last year into the first quarter of this year. Year to date, 2017, we're at approximately 76,000 units, an increase of about 10% in year-over-year sales. And March sales totaled 27,635 units, an increase of 2.68% over March 2016. So some of the highlights from the Volkswagen sales updates. Tiguan sales year to date were at 10,211 units delivered, an increase of 9.9%, and as of April 1st, this is the best year to date for this vehicle. The Golf family sales, including the Sport Wagon and the All-Track, have been a highlight for us. Year to date, 17,977 units, an increase of 48%. March Golf Sports Wagon sales, including the All-Track, totaled 2,309 units, 23,000 would be nice. An increase of 185% over last year. We all know that car went into production last year. That's probably why there's a 3-digit number there. But still, March, every model in the Golf family, except the Golf, saw an increase. Sport Wagon, e-Golf, Golf R, and GTI recorded their best March sales ever. So here we are looking at it compared to our industry colleagues. On the left, you see March 2017. We're up there, 5th position, just an increase of 3% over last year. Pretty good. Consider ourselves pleased to be there at the top end of the things of the scale. And then year to date, obviously, we're performing pretty strongly right now. We're happy about that sales momentum. 10% increase over last year, 76,000 units. Hoping to build on that with the launches we have upcoming this year. So, North American region, I mentioned. Beginning, what is the NAR, as we call it internally? The North American region consists of Canada, Mexico, and the United States, and it's been created now to decentralize decision-making and give autonomy and accountability to us in the region. Something that's been in place now about the past year. We have all the functions here in the region for a full-fledged automobile company: sales and marketing, finance, engineering, purchasing, production, HR, quality, and strategy. And there's a structure in place. We have a NAR board responsible for the region, individual markets, and then the function of those markets all reporting back into that NAR board. In addition to that, we have the new vehicle lines in the region. We call it internally G2 for the compact vehicle line residing in Puebla, Mexico. G3, which I have the privilege of leading, the mid full size residing in Chattanooga, and the G4 product line for the electric vehicles in Belmont, California. And what we do, all the functional units kind of feed into us, and we take a holistic approach to the vehicle lines, ensuring timely deliveries, quality, cost, and content. So our growth strategy, you've heard about it, talk about it a little bit here. You see here on the left side the SUV segment development 2010 through 2026. We all know that's where the customers right now are their focus is and where they're making their purchases, particularly in the compact SUV and the midsize SUV. And Volkswagen is becoming a full-line, family-focused automaker now with the vehicles we're bringing to the market. With addition to the Atlas and the all-new 2018 Tiguan, it will be competitive in 4 of the 5 biggest segments in the U.S. market: compact sedan, the midsize sedan, compact SUV, and of course the midsize SUV. So we're really going at the core of the market, at the sweet spot. The Atlas is helping us, the Tiguan, the new Tiguan in the middle of this year is helping us as well. So, and our Atlas, built in America and designed for the American family. It's built alongside the Passat at our Volkswagen facility, an assembly plant in Chattanooga. And it's the result of an additional $900 million investment by Volkswagen over the past few years. Very proud about this. I can say I've been in Chattanooga since the very beginning, 2008, when we were prepping the Passat and the whole build of the plant. It's an exciting time for us and all the colleagues now to see it filling up then with its second product. So we're happy here for the opportunity for you guys to jump in there, take a look at the product over the next 24 hours. We're excited for it. And with that, I'll hand off to my colleague Jim, and he's going to tell you all the good details about the car.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jim Birch. I'm the product manager for the Atlas in the U.S. market. It's been a great privilege of mine to be working on this project. It's been about 1.5 years that I came into the project in general. And this is an exciting time for me personally, but also an exciting time for the company. And we're excited to have you here and see this vehicle, learn about it more, drive it, and spread the word about it. So I'll start off with a couple slides tonight, and I'll give you some background, a little more in-depth highlights of this vehicle, so that you'll be, when you get into the car tomorrow, you'll have a good understanding of what you're getting into. So to start off, I want to first talk about the underpinnings of the Atlas. And you might have heard about this platform before. It's our MQB platform. It's Volkswagen's award-winning platform, and it's for us such an important piece of architecture, because you'll see the Polo in Europe will be on the MQB all the way to a vehicle this size on the MQB platform. And by having so many different product lines on a flexible platform like this, that helps for us to really reduce development costs in the long run. So, but getting into more of the Atlas itself, let's talk about the design of it. You've started seeing this concept really in 2013 with a cross blue concept, and some similarities to that in this, but this is by far much larger, because when you get into a segment like this, these families, these individuals that purchase this mid-size SUV, they're looking for functionality, they're looking for room, and we're coming into a very well-established segment, and the Volkswagen engineers and designers have really put their best foot forward with this product. And I think you'll notice this, the size is very competitive, if not better in some cases. And when you get into the vehicle, you'll also notice just how, in some ways, you might think it's quite cavernous, but I invite you to, decide that on your own. But looking at the exterior, starting from the front, the vehicle is very bold and expressive, and the front grille really, gives that bold look to the overall design of the vehicle. The grille transitions nicely into the headlamps, and these headlamps are standard full LED headlamps. That means that's LED low beam and LED high beam, which is something that's unique right now in the segment. And then, of course, you see the great LED daytime running lights that really, work nicely with the front grille. Over onto the side, you'll see also this strong character line that runs from the front all the way to the rear of the vehicle. It really gives it an overall more muscular look. And when families are looking for an SUV of this size, they're looking for safety, and this really kind of helps them determine that this is a safe vehicle. And, looking at the top of the car, these chrome roof rails, those are standard. The vehicle rides on 18-inch wheels, standard, but then you can get the option of a 20-inch wheel. This wheel is an optional 20-inch wheel that I'll get into later when we go over the whole trim walk. And then finally, in the back of the vehicle, it's a very clean finish. There's a great chrome strip that goes between the taillights, and the Atlas name is proudly stamped on top of that chrome strip. There's also a standard chrome tips as well integrated into the bumper. So a lot of great talking points on the exterior of the car. And looking at the interior, it's no less sophisticated. It's a very clean look, and it gives that clean look, gives it a very elegant feeling. The vehicle is really, it's designed for the driver, very driver-centric. In the center of the dashboard, starting with the second trim, the SE trim, you'll see a very beautiful 8-inch colored display. That's our composition media, starting in the SE trim. And that's really a focal point for the center of this dashboard. And when not only is it a focal point, but that display is also our second generation of MIB2. You might have heard about MIB2 coming out a couple of years ago. Now, for the first time seen in the Atlas, this is the second generation. And what that means is that there's better viewing angles with this screen. The colors are brighter, and also the responsiveness of the system is enhanced. And you'll notice that when you are in the map mode, for example, or if you're plugged into CarPlay and you have the Google Maps on, if you move your finger along that screen, zooming in and out of the map, it's like instant. It moves quickly. So it's a very nice feature for the driver. But other things inside the interior that we love to talk about is the Volkswagen Visual Cockpit. And this is, in the segment, something that's brand new that we haven't seen yet. It's fully digital, fully programmable, and it's going to be available on our top trim. But other things, when looking at a vehicle of this size and who the end user is, it's all about storage and how that storage is executed. And we've done that nicely with a very large 12-liter center storage bin, along with up to 17 different places where you can put your cup or a water bottle throughout the car, from the first row to the third row. So it's really quite convenient and easy to use. So again, this vehicle it's been designed for 7 adults, not just 7 passengers. I'm 6'7", and I have no problem getting into that third row seat. One of the reasons why that's so easy for me is because of that second row seat functionality, and I invite you to really try that out. It's very versatile, very flexible. It slides forward and backward of up to about 8-inch range, and both sides will tilt and slide forward. That's both sides, to give you access to the third row, and that can do that with a child seat in both sides of the car. So it's very convenient for everyday families. And also, as I said, it's a 7-seater standard, but we also will be offering captain's chairs as an option. That's going to be the second seat row captain's chairs. That will give you 6 seats to just give you a little bit more comfort if needed. So if you have a big vehicle, we have to have big sound in this car, and we've done that very nicely in association with Fender. They've worked diligently to engineer specifically a sound system for this car. And some of the unique firsts that we're first seeing in Volkswagen in this market is that with this sound system, we'll have a center channel in the middle of the dashboard, but there's going to be 12 speakers, 480 watts, and there's speakers all the way up into the D-pillar. So every row will be a fantastic listening experience. And one of the things that Fender has done, they're here on site, and they've supplied in the SEL Premiums a USB stick. So when they put on some music that they feel will really showcase and highlight the sound of this vehicle. So I invite you to check that out as well. So I want to talk about CarNet. You know, this is one of the key pillars for Volkswagen. Volkswagen prides itself in developing connected, intelligent vehicles, and we use the CarNet communication system to do that. And really, CarNet's divided up in 3 different buckets: the App Connect, the safety and security, and guide and inform. And the App Connect, I can say for the first time for Volkswagen in this market, is standard on Atlas. Before, you know, that means Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, MirrorLink. You know, that came to market a few years ago, but now we can say it's standard in this vehicle. And then the security and service. This is something, you know, that really gives the customer some more peace of mind and convenience that works seamlessly with your smartphone. And this is something that we'll be able to offer to the customer starting with the second trim. And then finally, guide and inform. You know, this will work seamlessly with the navigation system. It has great features such as the SiriusXM Travel Link, which will give you fuel prices, weather, and also SiriusXM real-time traffic, which will be integrated into the navigation. So let's talk about the powertrain. We'll be offering 2 engines for the Atlas and the customer. The first is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. It's 235 horsepower. It has excellent torque. It's almost as much as the V6 torque. And this will be available later this year to the customer. Then we'll be offering our VR6. And this is an engine, a V6 engine that's typical within the segment. It offers great power at 276 horsepower, and both engines are mated to a 8-speed automatic transmission. The fuel economy right there that you see is preliminary right now, so it's an estimate. But not only is it an 8-speed transmission, but for the first time also we'll be offering start-stop technology to the engines. And then finally, we'll be offering all-wheel drive, as you can imagine, in a segment like this. That'll be available only on the V6 at this time. The towing capacity from a factory-installed hitch will be 5,000-pound towing capacity, and that will be only on the V6 engines, and we'll be offering a 2,000-pound towing capacity on other V6 models and also on the 4-cylinder, and that will be available through accessories. Now, talking about the 4Motion all-wheel drive system, it's a very intelligent system. It's something that we first have seen on the Mark 7 Golf R. It is the latest generation, the 5th generation, and the great unique thing about this system is that under normal use or during coast or non-heavy load situations, the front wheels will be, that's where the power is going primarily. However, the system is always active, always monitoring the driving situation. And at a moment's notice, if there's any slippage detected whatsoever, the system will enact the center differential and send torque to the rear wheels as needed. And it can send that up to 50% torque to the back. So it's a 4Motion system. It's always moving, always on, and when the focus of it is to not only give confidence to the driver, but also help improve fuel economy. And then when you have a 4Motion vehicle, when you see this dial here in the center console, you'll always know you have a 4Motion vehicle. This is called our driving mode selection, and it's a great system because it gives the driver the opportunity, the ability to really personalize the vehicle to himself or herself, depending on how he or she drives, but also what it does is that it will change parameters for the engine, transmission, the steering, and optional ACC. And you can do this in 4 different modes: eco, normal, sport, individual. And those are on-road driving performances. And then there's also, if you turn the dial, there's a snowflake, which is the snow mode, and that's for slippery situations. Not necessarily just snow, but also wet surfaces. And then we also have the off-road function that you can turn the dial to. And then if you turn it to the last one with the mountains and the star, that is a custom off-road setting. So similar to the different parameters that you can set on the on-road, you can also do in an off-road setting as well. So this is one of my favorite slides because there's so much to talk about when it comes to safety and driver assistance features on the Atlas. And one of the key reasons why families purchase a vehicle like this is for safety and and peace of mind. Of course, we'll offer standard the rear view camera, but unique to this segment and unique to Volkswagen, we'll also be offering the standard automatic post-collision braking system. And what that means is that it's built on the premise that, in an accident, there could be not just the collision, the primary collision could be the only collision. There could be a collision after that, perhaps, if the car keeps rolling or moving. And what the system does is that it, based on airbag detection, it will actually brake the wheels and bring the vehicle to a stop and stationary, so it doesn't roll onto maybe oncoming traffic or against any other obstacle. So it's really a nice system that really the idea is to keep the family safe. So we also will be offering available features such as what we call front assist. And this is comprised of forward collision warning, autonomous emergency braking, and for the first time with Atlas, we'll be able to talk about the system will also have pedestrian monitoring. Not only that, but we'll have blind spot, and with blind spot, you'll get the rear traffic alert with braking. And what that means is that if you're in parking lot situations and if you're pulling out, backwards, backing up, the system, the sensors on the rear of the car can detect if an object is coming towards you, and if you don't brake in time, the car will brake for you. So it's another system that's very thoughtful and another peace of mind for the customer. Then moving on, we have lane assist, which is an active lane departure warning system. You'll experience this quite a bit tomorrow, I think. And also when it's coupled with blind spot, which is always the case, then that blind spot actually becomes an active blind spot system. So if there's someone in your blind spot and you're moving over into that lane, it will actually counter steer and move you back away from that person or individual or driver. So it's a great system, something that you don't see in the segment right now, and something that we love to talk about. Then moving on, we have adaptive cruise control, and also for the first time with Atlas, not only will it come to a stop, but it will also go if the car moves in front of you within 3 seconds. So that's a new feature and new for Volkswagen in this market. Another new thing to talk about as well is, we know about park distance control, but now we'll be able to offer it with maneuver braking. This will be offered later this year, but what that means is that from about 1 to 6 miles per hour and slow speeds in a parking situation, if the vehicle senses an obstacle and the driver doesn't stop in time, the car will stop for you. So another great convenience with such a big car like this. And finally, we have park assist, and it's probably sounding like a broken record, but another new thing we can talk about with the Atlas is that with the new park assist, this new generation, it can actually perpendicularly park you forward, not just back. This is something also that we're not seeing in the segment right now, and we'll be happy to demonstrate this for you tomorrow after, during lunch in the parking lot behind the restaurant. And then finally, we'll have the light assist, which is our high beam control. So where does all this equipment end up? So this will be the lineup for the 2018 Atlas. And as you see, we start from the S trim, And there's great value in every one of these trims. I mentioned the full LED headlamps and the daytime running lamps. We'll have the standard App Connect. The upholstery will be cloth, but it's a diamond patterned cloth that looks fantastic in the vehicle. For a limited time, about 5,000 units, we'll have an S launch model, and that'll be based on the S, and it will include not only everything in the S, but the panoramic sunroof along with the 8-inch composition color, and that will include voice control, satellite radio, and that great glass display that you'll be seeing. Then moving into the SE, we'll have the unique Volkswagen leatherette that you don't see in the rest of the competitors. You'll have heated front seats, 10-way power driver's seat, and then already from the second trim, you'll have safety systems already standard, such as the blind spot monitor. And with a car like this, blind spot monitor will be something really appreciated. We'll have KESI, which is our keyless access, which means if you have the key in your pocket or purse and you walk up to the car, the doors will unlock, you have push button start. What's great about this system is that unlike the competition, we have it on all the doors, not just the 2 front doors. And if you're a parent like me and you have kids in your hand, the first thing you want to do is get them into the back or get them into the car. And so many times I'll be, on a vehicle that has only front door KESI and, the rear doors don't open up. You have to go to the front. So this is just another convenience for the customer, and that really speaks to everyday usability. Then moving on to the SE with technology, we'll have the front assist that I talked about that has the pedestrian monitoring, the adaptive cruise control, the lane assist, the power liftgate, and factory remote start. And before, that's factory remote start. In the lower trims, you can get remote start via accessories, so that will be available to the customer. Then moving on to the SEL, we'll have this fantastic, it's not on this car, but it's the panoramic roof. It really literally goes all the way up to the 3rd row seat. Memory driver seat, the park distance control I mentioned with maneuver braking. Easy open liftgate, which means that's the hands-free opening of the liftgate. You just have to kick your foot under the bumper and it opens up for you. And then we'll have the factory installed trailer hitch with that trim. Then finally, with all the bells and whistles on the SEL Premium, we'll have the 20-inch wheels, LED taillights. We'll have the leather seats that's with ventilated and heated seats, and also rear heated seats. The 8-inch Discover Media, which is the navigation, the Volkswagen Digital Cockpit, and the Fender Audio, just to name a few things. So it's a great, fantastic package, and we feel like customers will benefit all throughout the range of the offering. We'll also be offering the captain's chairs, starting with the SE trim all the way to the top, and then the R-Line package, which is strictly an appearance package. It's been designed by our R-Line colleagues, and what it is, you might have seen it, it was premiered in Detroit, but it's a unique front and rear bumper design. It also has side cladding, which has additional chrome, and then great 20-inch wheels with a nice gray finish to them. And then finally, the 20-inch wheels will be optional on top 2 trims, and this is what you see in front of you here. So that's all my information I have for now. And if you have any questions, I'll call my colleagues up and we can answer. But thank you, and I'll be around so you can ask any questions you might have afterwards too. So, any questions?
Park distance control system that you're talking about, you can see these in front up to like 6 inches tall. Is that in the back as well?
Yeah, it's in the back, front and back, yes.
And when does the i4 come in?
I'm sorry, the 4-cylinder?
Yeah.
When does it come? Probably around, we're looking at maybe August timeframe.
Do you have an idea of what percentage of the vehicles will be 4-cylinder?
Yeah, the majority we see will be a V6, very V6 heavy.
Just for,
And
Are there going to be other iterations in the future, such as Columbia?
plug-in hybrid. Those are things that we're always looking into, but we don't have anything definitive.
Then,
For clarification, this is considered an SUV, not a crossover?
Yes. Yeah.
Because it seems like some of the car companies are kind of getting away from the terminology SUV and going more towards crossover, more consumer accepted or whatever. That's where I was a little puzzled.
Yeah.
Can you-
I mean,
Can you expand on that just a little with your?
well, I think they're interchangeable terms, David. I mean, a crossover utility vehicle and a sport utility vehicle. Vast majority of SUVs now are going away from being body on frame to being like I want to call a passenger car platform. So I think they're interchangeable terms. We like SUV. I mean, it's a sport utility vehicle at the end of the day, and you'll find out tomorrow. It's pretty sporty for a big vehicle.
It's an entirely different vehicle, but how's the two-row doing, and does this end up taking its place? More, premium stuff?
Touareg, yeah. No, in the foreseeable future, 2017, so the plan's there, and then we'll have to determine then what's going to happen with its replacement. So it's definitely still in the product lineup, but a little bit different car.
Cool. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Thomas. One thing I forgot to mention in housekeeping is if you like playing guitars, Fender, who's our partner for the premium audio system, have got some guitars in the hospitality lounge. If you want to strum along later, they're there to play with. And with that, we're going to go to dinner, and then Thomas is going to do the Canadian presentation.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Here guys, I'm gonna show you inside the car real quick. Hold on. So all of these come with an 8-speed automatic transmission, and the back seat is actually really, really big. Check it out. I'm just over 6'2", and I fit great. Look at legroom, footroom, everything. Pardon my voice. And these slide. I mean, so you have a lot of adjustability as well. So, really great stuff. And to get in the back, let me show you how to get back in the third row. Check it out, I'm in the third row, and look, I have knee space and head space. This is pretty amazing for a 3-row crossover.
Canadians want to do their presentation.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so there's the interior. And stay tuned, we're doing a full review tomorrow. We're going to try to edit and publish that as soon as possible, so stay tuned for that. Thanks.